Hi, I'm Lindsay from Shreve Memorial Library and welcome to Art Club. Today we're going to make a painting by a modernist artist. His name is Charlie Harper. He was alive from 1922 to 2007, so this is probably the most recent artist I think we've done in Art Club so far. Modernism was about making things new. That's what the father, I guess, of modernism, Ezra Pound, said, was make it new. And what it's trying to do is depart from the old type of art, like the old realism and such. Like Picasso is an example of modernist art. Lots of kinds of art fit under the modernist umbrella. This specific painting, which is called Cardinal and Seeds, is an example of what Charlie Harper called minimal realism. So you see it's kind of almost a realistic cardinal. I mean, it certainly looks like a cardinal, but all of the details have been taken out. You've got the pointy head and the round body and the sticks for legs and all of that, but there aren't any individual feathers. The same thing goes for the seeds. Those are very basic sunflower seeds. And yeah, so that's what we're going to do today. What you need to do this painting with me today is a pencil with an eraser, some sort of paper. I'm using watercolor paper because I'm watercoloring. I have watercolors to color. You can use crayons, pencils, markers, whatever you want. And you'll need a black pen if you're using something water-based like watercolors or markers or something like that, because we're going to do all of that, the black on there, most of the black on there, with a pen instead of trying to paint tiny lines. So you'll need that. If you're working with crayons or colored pencils, stick to that, just use black. But if you're using something water-based, you'll want a pen. So, and it doesn't matter what kind, because we're going to do the lining after we do the painting part. So let's do this. The first thing we're going to do is draw the cardinal, and we're going to start with a circle for his body. If you happen to have like a jar lid that's the right size or something like that that you can trace around and get a perfect circle, go to by any means. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is show you how to draw a circle that isn't just, since it's so big, not just like trying to draw a circle. Here's one way. So it's about here and it's about that big, right? So I'm not worried about the pointy top at the top, pointy part at the top. I'm going to make a plus sign, the size of the circle. So it's about here. I'm just going to draw a line for the length of it, about ish. Okay, I'm going to draw a line for the width of it. These lines should be the same length because they are a circle. Well, because they will be a circle. Okay, so I have this, and that looks right enough to me. I'm going to draw little lines here. Okay, and all we have to do, instead of worrying about the whole circle, all we have to do is worry about connecting these. Okay, and this one isn't quite as long. And draw lightly so we can erase. So it's going to be red in there, so it shouldn't be too bad. But so now all we're going to do is do our best to connect these lines with a nice curve. And if you don't like it later, you can always erase and try again. So pretty good. And you'll also be able to like eyeball it and tell if any of these lines are longer. You can also do it with a ruler, not like what I did and eyeballed it, but you can do it with a ruler and make sure that your lines are the same size, but I wasn't going to do that. So I'm just going to do my best. And this is just a faster way. You might be able to get a circle. Your mileage may vary, of course, without having to just, go from nothing. That's a pretty darn good circle. I'm going to go ahead and erase this plus part. Okay. I will take that. Okay, so let's make the top of the bird, the pointy part, which kind of turns this into like a teardrop. So we're gonna say about here, I'm totally eyeballing it, is gonna be my point. Okay, and that's just above the middle of the circle. And then all you're gonna do, I know, say all, is connect it. Do it very lightly so you can decide you don't like it and redo it. Okay, so it's kind of like a little tint over the top of the circle. Try and make them as symmetrical as you can. And then, nope. And try not to do it too many times that you ruin your paper because you don't like it. Let's see. You would think after that voicey thing that we'd be doing great. Actually, widen that. That after that voicey wallpaper stuff that we did, I'd be darn good at mirroring stuff, but I'm not. Okay, I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to erase this top part. Okay. Pretty good. And I'm going to do the face part. And the face is just a straight line across here, or about here. And then we're going to make a U. So it comes straight down for a while, right? Like that, and then it curves like that, kind of. Okay, and we'll put 2 dots for eyes here, and then we're going to draw a line across here like that, just a straightish line. Find the middle again. So the middle of that is about there. And I'm going to draw 2 lines to meet it. Remember, do this lightly because we're going to end up needing to erase some of it. Okay, and then find that middle part, not as high up, so the top triangle's bigger. Find that middle part-ish again, and then draw lines to connect over here and over here, and that is not the middle, but that's better. That's pretty good. Okay, next we are going to draw wings, and those are just straight lines down here, like so. I'm going to draw a straight line down, and you're going to keep going until about here. Okay, because we are going to make him legs with the same line. Over here, do the same thing about here. Straight line. Go down about there. Give him 2 little knobbly knees. Okay. And now we're going to go, let's see, we can go ahead and do this part. So we're just going to draw lines fanning out, so it's just straight lines. You can use a straight edge if you want. I'm not. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we have the tail up here. It's above the head, not by that much, but it is a straight line about like that. Okay. And we're going to draw straight lines back down to here. Again, you can totally use a straight edge. I am just eyeballing this one. Okay, there's one. Connect that. Like that. Okay, we're gonna draw lines just like we did there, and they all fan in toward that little point. If you're not happy where your lines are going, use a straight edge and just line it up with it. 2, 3, and they're not all the same width apart too. Notice that. Oops. Okay. One more. It's kind of messy, but the pen will help erase some of that and clean it up. Before we do it, I'm gonna make some of these lines lighter just with a different eraser. Okay, there's our bird. Pretty good job. Okay, next we're gonna do seeds. Now, all we're gonna do for seeds are teardrops, or think of leaves. We've done a bunch of leaves. So this one, or petals. Petals are great too. That's all. Okay, we're just gonna, you can do it in the same places as in the painting or not. I'm gonna try, but you totally don't have to. If there are too many for you want to bother with, then don't. But I'm gonna give it my best effort. See, notice they're not all the same shape, so don't try to draw the same thing over and over again, except that it is essentially the same thing. Okay, I'm just gonna keep drawing these until I am happy with them. I think that's all of them. Might or might not be. Okay, all we have left is what looks like footprints to me. So I am going to just start by making a straight line like that, right? And then kind of like a V over it. Okay, and those are just gonna go, I'm gonna try and do it the same that's in the painting or close to it, but it will not be exactly the same. And you can put as many or as few as you want. And with that, that's it for the drawing. That was pretty easy, huh? I didn't put in the confetti looking little seeds yet. We'll just do that with watercolor and pen. If you want to go to, I'm not going to do it right now because it's just so much and so tiny. What I am going to do is I'm going to use an eraser, and I'm going to lighten these lines, especially on the cardinal. I still want to be able to see them, but I just want to lighten them so they don't show up as much, since my pencil marks are going to be wider than my pen. You see how you can still see it? Now if you drew lighter than I did, you might not need to do that at all, but I'm doing it. I'm just running this over really fast, and then we'll get to painting. Now for the painting part. What I'm going to paint first is the cardinal. I'm just going to paint the red portions of him. When I get to the legs, I'm just going to use a skinny brush and paint the legs just as straight as I can. So let's do the red part, and then we will come back and do the orange. I want the red to be bright, so what I'm doing is I'm mixing a mostly paint and not that much water, just because that'll make it as bright as I can get it. And then I'm just going to paint the cardinal. There's my red. If you want to go ahead and paint that, the rest of the red as confetti, you can do that. Or is that orange? Yeah, never mind. We'll do that with orange. Speaking of, I am going to paint the beak. I'm just going to be careful and not run the orange into the red. So it's just that little area. And if you want to go ahead and paint the seeds, you can. I am gonna wait and do that at the end, or probably before I ink it. There's my beak. What I'm gonna do now is go ahead and paint the seeds. I'm gonna paint the seeds a light gray, which just means black with a lot of water in it. I'm gonna go ahead and do all of that because I need the orange and the red to be dry before I can do this black, or else it's gonna run everywhere. So I'm just gonna paint. I'll just use this. Get a ton of water on it because we want that. This is just like the background of it. We want it to be super light. I'm gonna do more water than that. Let's see. Now remember, watercolor dries lighter than it looks when it's wet. Still, add some more. So it's a really subtle gray. That's good enough. And let's paint the seeds gray. There are seeds. Now check. Mine is not dry. Check to see if your bird is dry. If he's dry, you can go ahead and paint it. Paint the black. If he's not, you're going to want to dry it or wait for it to dry, which is what I'm going to do right now. Okay, he's dry enough, and what I'm going to do now is paint that black area around the beak. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to get black and paint it thick instead of super thin like we did that. So this is the same color as the seeds, it's just there's a lot less water in it. And there's my black. At this point, if you want, you can do either all or the thicker lines in your seeds, but I'm not going to do it. You can also like brave it and just paint all of the stuff that I'm about to use a pen for. What I am going to do before I put the paint up is I'm going to get some orange and just do little dots around. I love how these are like polygons and circles, but I'm not that devoted, and so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go in here and put some dots around like that and that and that, and you see what I'm doing. You can put as many or as few as you want. Just stop when you're ready. I'm turning my brush so I'll get shapes that look different. I'm applying different amounts of pressure so they're not all the same. But yeah, let's just put a bunch of dots on the page. Okay, that's all I'm putting down. Now what we need to do is make sure the whole thing is dry. And then we're going to go back with a pen. But that's it for the painting, unless you want to paint more of it. I'm not that brave and I'll use a pen, but after everything is completely dry. My painting is dry, and now I'm going to get to the pen part, which I imagine might take longer than the rest of it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw all the footprints and put lines in the seeds. And then I'm going to follow these lines on the bird, not forgetting his eyes. And I'm going to do after that I'm going to do some little dots for confetti. And I do believe, got to draw that line too, I do believe that will be it. But it's going to take a while, so let's get to it. I should probably note notice that the bird is not outlined and the seeds aren't outlined, so I'm not doing that. I'm just putting lines on stuff, kind of where they go. Okay, I think that will do. That's all. The one thing that's bothering me is this little line right here, and the cool thing is that I did not watercolor this, so I can go back. Anything that you didn't put watercolor on, you should be able to go back and erase over. So just if you watercolored over it, it's there forever. If you did not, then you can probably erase it. So yeah, oh, I forgot one thing. Do you see it? I always forget one thing. Right here. Okay. So I think this is super cute. I'm going to sign my name. Do not forget to sign your paintings. I'm just going to sign it down here like that with a pen. Okay. I love it. Peel the paper off. There's not, the only thing that kind of overlaps is right there. Everything else is securely on the page. Let's see. I guess it's not as satisfying when the whole side is white anyway, but that helped keep our paper in place. Okay, now if you're peeling tape off like I am, don't forget, do it slowly. You don't want your painting ruined or ripped. After you've done that, I love the bright colors in this. Now keep an eye out for this Cardinal. You'll see him, and you'll probably see him more often since you've seen this, because you'll notice it, and you will know that Charlie Harper designed it. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so yeah, this is our painting. I absolutely love this. I'm gonna hang it up. I love the bright colors. Don't forget the traceable is in the description below. If you just want to color along and you don't want to go through all of the drawing part, but I think the drawing part might have been my favorite part of this. Like I absolutely love this. Anyway, thank you for joining me today. I hope you had a great time, and if you did paint along with me, please take a picture and send it into the library social media, because we love to see what you do. So I will see you next week for more Art Club. Bye!